Hi, this is Lacey. I am the creator of Maggie Hale's Corner, and this video is just a sort of thank you for everyone who's helped us get to over 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. I'm gonna do a little plug here. Keep helping us. Our show is stagnated a little. It's still going great, but I would love to see that viewership go up. I know we have a potential audience out there that's bigger, so if you could just keep sharing, subscribing. We love to hear your comments. We love to hear what you think. Remember that you can interact with the characters. They don't exist in a void. If you want to say something to Maggie, I know she's there's probably going to be things you're going to want to say to her. Feel free to do that. We're so happy to have fan creations as well, fan art, playlists, all sorts of stuff like that. The ones that we especially like, we'll make sure to emphasize. We're happy to have all of it. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the video. For those of you who celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. Otherwise, I hope you're just having a great week, and thanks for watching. Question 1. How difficult was putting the team together? Well, it depends on what you're defining by team. So we started out with getting the writers and everything, and that happened relatively quickly. I've been watching literary inspired web series for quite a while, and I had attempted to do one before. That did not work, but I didn't actually have anyone who was on that writing team for this. That had been a while ago, and I sort of tried to do things a lot more carefully and thoughtfully this time around, and so I sought outside help from people who I know had created things before on their own, and so I would say within a month of me saying yes, I am doing a North and South web series, I had basically my group of writers. I had a couple of people who thought they were going to be involved but that simply just were too busy with their own projects, which is often what happens. And of course, we were talking about the team, we were talking about casting and everything. The casting took longer, especially with Maggie. We were really struggling to find the right person for Maggie. And then we had an actress who we cast and everything. I had a meeting with her along with the rest of the cast, and then she just decided that it wasn't the right thing for her. And so then we went with the person who had been our second choice, who of course you all know, Agatha. You've seen her face all over the place, and we love her. So, you know, life works in funny ways. So, but the casting was definitely the longest process. And then the crew that I got beyond that then eventually would end up being the transmedia crew. And that also took a fair bit of time. I think I spent ultimately about a month slowly gathering people. I think ended up with basically, I think, an entire team that had never done transmedia before, which is really neat. But so it was kind of plugging and trying to explain this is how transmedia works and everything. The people know how writing a script works, but writing transmedia, it was a little more difficult to find people with that. So it's kind of a step-by-step process. Okay, my chair is squeaky. I'm so sorry. I don't have money for nice things. This is probably the one nice looking part of my apartment, and you're getting half a poster, so I am so sorry for my squeaky chair. Question 2, how was modernizing the plot? That was both fun and challenging. It was really interesting going through with everyone and trying to decide how we wanted to do stuff. And I had a fair idea in my head, but then other of the writers had inputs on things. You know, trying to make things that worked and taking, you know, we really wanted to have Thornton, for example, be someone who wasn't white. We really wanted to throw that element of immigration and stuff because it's so prevalent today into this whole thing. And instead of it just being about, oh, she'd come from a poor background and things like that, which she had, but throwing in that extra element and everything, and that juxtaposition of why Maggie's so baffled about why Thornton is the way she is if she comes from this type of background and this experience. Yeah, it was really an interesting challenge. You know, of course, the whole thing with Maggie's dad and why he was going to leave the church. And, you know, in my innocent liberal ignorance, when I first saw North and South, I thought that her dad was doing something that was really shocking, which was saying that he disagreed with the church entirely and that he didn't really follow those values and everything anymore. No, he he still believed in everything, God and everything. Because, I mean, 1800s Elizabeth Gaskell novel, she's not going to be dealing with someone losing their faith. You know, her father was a Unitarian minister, and she was the wife of a Unitarian minister. So, yeah. Once I reread the text and everything and watched it again, I went, oh, okay, yeah. But so, creating that, because in 2017, and we wanted something more, and especially with making Maggie demisexual and everything, and I am personally not Christian. I am actually Unitarian Universalist, so I herald back to Elizabeth Gaskell and some of her religion. But I have friends in the literary inspired web series creators community that I do know are Christian and yet also are of different sexualities, and they've kind of opened my eyes to different ways of thinking and things about Christianity and about religion and about spirituality in general. And so I really wanted to take what Maggie's dad did and try and put a 2017 lens on of someone who really cares about his faith but simply can't stand by what his church is doing anymore. Oh, yeah, I could really do an entire video about talking about modernizing everything, but I'm not going to do that right here. If you're interested, you can ask for it and I will do that. Any challenges you encountered in particular? God, yes. The one that sticks out the most is filming and getting it. And it's so funny, I did an interview with Bonnets at Dawn, which that interview should be coming out today or tomorrow. And she just naturally assumed that I had been a film student. I went, no. So I had to learn how to do everything, and that's and I don't really have friends out here. And so if you're sitting here watching some of my episodes and going, God, these angles are crap, the lighting is crap, the editing is crap, and my episodes, I'm sure I know the editing on the other people's episodes are wonderful. Let's be clear here. That's because I literally don't know what I'm doing, and I'm so sorry. And I sent out multiple requests for people who had more filmography experience and directing experience, and I didn't get anything. So I had to do it all on my own. So that would be the biggest learning curve, not only just in actually filming the episodes, but in that I had to get up there. And I did a wide casting pool to people all the way in Northern Virginia and Southern Maryland and DC, but everyone ended up being in the DC area. And I live on a good day 45 minutes outside of DC, and from where we were filming with traffic and everything because of people's schedules, it was more like an hour and 25 minutes each direction. And there was actually a really big halt in filming. The actress who played Nicole was gone. The actress who played Maggie was gone. Lots of different schedules. And then Cristina, the actress who plays Thornton, then had a really big deadline in that she was moving back to Vancouver, BC. And so, yeah, filming was absolutely the biggest challenge. Every single aspect of it was really difficult. Who is your favorite character? That's so hard, especially with there not being that many characters in the series. They're all kind of my babies. Maggie we see so much of, and I do absolutely care about Maggie, and I really created her and developed her and everything. But in terms of character who I probably is my favorite, I think it would have to be Thornton, just because of her character development. Cristina does such a fantastic job of playing her. I love when she gets more silly, and I love when she loses herself if she's staring at Maggie, or some of the jokes. She makes a really great joke in episode 15, which I know hasn't come out yet, obviously, so I can't actually tell you what it is. But I love her sense of humor. I love her character development and everything. Yeah, so, and writing some of her parts and everything were just really fun. And adapting Thornton's voice from this masculine, domineering person who's described as a bulldog in the original novel into this powerhouse of a woman, and trying to really avoid the stereotype of, oh, she's just a CEO bitch, and giving her more humanity. In terms of characters that I really relate to, gonna be a cross between Maggie and Beth, really. Beth, in terms of all of her interest in fandom and everything, it's funny that we're actually one of those shows that doesn't have a lot of that representation. We really only have the one character. And then Maggie, in that I can be really opinionated and kind of stupid and don't necessarily listen when I should. So, what was your favorite episode to film? I'm going to stick to the ones that we've already put up so that I avoid spoilers, but I'm happy to answer this question later on again when more episodes have come out. I'm going to say, out of the ones so far, episode 7. So it was our first day of filming, and Agatha and Cristina and my fiance and I all got in the car and we just drove around the area where Cristina lives, filming different things that looked sketchy and icky and like Milton, and making sure that we didn't get anything that looked nicer or picturesque, which is hard sometimes. It's like, no, is this, is this disgusting enough? Is this Milton enough? Nope. Keep going. And then filming the whole part with them smacking into each other, and everything was great. I'm standing like right beside Agatha off screen, trying to make sure that everything's going right and that we're getting the right angles. We had to do a couple of different takes and everything. That's probably my favorite so far. What was the biggest learning point you faced? Well, I've already talked a fair bit about the filming, so I would say just in general, organization, having everything in mind. I didn't have a schedule in mind because I was really terrified that we wouldn't be able to get it done, and I think that was kind of fair because everything took way longer than expected. But so a lot of how we're airing right now in this season, we're having to show through transmedia and the like because we didn't have a season in mind when we filmed. And so just having a plan and a set schedule and idea and being really rigorous, which is hard when you're dealing with other people. You can't control other people or their schedules or their lives. But so that was the biggest learning point I faced, was really learning how to communicate what I needed, what I wanted, and if I could do things differently. I would have had a more set time period that we were going to air the show in seasons and things like that. And lastly, what would you do different on your next show? Oh God, so many things. But before I get to that, my next show is going to be Heidi. So if you're interested in being involved, please come be involved in transmedia or acting or writing or anything. You can message us on Twitter. You can email us at maggiehalescorner@gmail.com. Anyway, so what would I do differently with my next show? Fundraising. I'm really hoping to do fundraising next time. I'm hoping that once people know our name and everything, that I can put a production label on it. I do have a production name in mind, but I really don't want to use it yet because I really want people to get to know us as our show and be recognized for this particular show. But doing fundraising, really hoping that I can buy my own camera. I had to borrow one, and that was also a pressure and a deadline of getting the filming done, and also just a concern about having everything and knowing that it wasn't mine and that I needed to take care with everything. As I've said before, scheduling, having a time period in mind, or making sure that's not happening over a holiday season so that we don't need more of those obvious signs that it's happening during a holiday season. And making sure that I'm closer to where I'm filming, or waiting to film until it's better, or giving it to someone else to film. The good news is I will be moving up to the DC area in the end of January, and it will be much easier to film the next series living up there instead of commuting from Southern Maryland. So, and I'm sure there's way more things that I probably want to do differently, but those are the big ones. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the subscribing. Love to hear your feedbacks. We'd love to hear your comments. Remember that you can always interact with our people on social media. I am happy to have comments back on Twitter and everything. We don't happen in a void. We also accept fan content. So if you want to create fan art, fan fiction, playlists, anything, gift sets for our characters, please do. And something else that I would really love to see, if you're interested in filming mini vlogs, we have a few characters in universe that we weren't really able to do, but if you're someone who really likes to act and you like to portray one of these characters, please contact me and we can discuss something. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching Maggie Hale's Corner, and I hope you've enjoyed.